let's go see some land. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna Coleman. I am a realtor here in the great state of Maryland. If you could do one favor for me before we get this video started, can you please like, comment, and subscribe? If you can't do all three, just do one. Just do one. So today I am on my way to, well, I'm actually already in front of the land. On my way to go show some land. So I've already showed one property, and I'm on my way to show the second lot. So the first lot looks really promising. It's been on the market for 100 and some odd days. I'm still here right in front of it, and of course I will show you some of the land. I did get some shots while I was walking. But for now, we're gonna be headed to the next one.
Make a U-turn.
We know. The address is a little wonky, but hopefully it's going to take us to the right place here. The thing about showing land is that sometimes there is no address to the place, and you kind of have to find the place.
In 0.1 miles, turn left.
And even sometimes where they have the pin, where they've pinned the house at, is not the right place. So beforehand, it's always good to actually find the place and find the address before you actually go and try to show it, or even go and try to ride by some land. Some addresses may say unknown. Some addresses may not come up in the system, like this one, or in GPS. So you kind of have to go back to the old days and be a little handy and find stuff that way. So yeah, we're about 5 minutes away from the other property. Both are in La Plata. We were going to go to Nanjemoy, but because I looked ahead, that one property was landlocked. So we would have to trespass through a few different properties off the road through the woods just to get there. And we decided that that was, one, that was not going to be safe. And two, that if we did want to explore that, it could be for sure worth it. But you would have to go through a whole lot more, and it could take years to be able to get into your new place. I will show you the next place. I think this one is going to be a little more wooded than the last one. Now, I don't know if y'all can see these deer. Yes, you see those deer? I'm not exactly sure how close they're going to let me get. Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to move or what. It's gonna be hard to find you for a little bit, but all right. So second land showing is done. That one, she really loved it and wants to go for that one. The location is a little bit more remote. She'll have a little bit more privacy. That lot had a lot less information, a lot less documents, but also it had never been perked. All right, so I'm back home. She's looking for something a little more secluded so she can have a little more privacy. It was much more wide open. This first one was nice, but this one was like perfect for her. So that's the one we're gonna go after. I'm gonna re-look up the property to make sure I was looking at the right one, since it totally took us a whole different direction and the addresses were all wonky. But to make sure we're looking at the same parcel, I'm gonna confirm with the listing agent, and then we'll go from there. So I got a little work to do, but I have not eaten today, so I'm gonna get something to eat. And before you go, I'm also gonna give you a few tips about buying land. If you watch my other videos, you probably heard this before, but just keep on watching. All right, so I figured I would finish this off right here in nature. And I do have a whole video about buying land. I'm gonna give you some tips right here, because maybe this is kind of what you came here for. So the first tip, besides getting a realtor and all that good stuff, the first tip is you wanna make sure that land is accessible. You wanna make sure that there's a road or some kind of mode of egress to get to the property. You don't wanna get a piece of land that is landlocked. Landlocked just means that it's surrounded by land that does not belong to that parcel. So you either have to cross someone else's lot, or maybe a few lots to get to it, and some lots are just so remote. So when you're looking online and you're looking at prices, you have to kind of figure in those things. And when you're looking online, where the house or the agent has that home pinned is probably not going to be where it's supposed to be. Just assume that it's not. So you kind of have to do a little more digging. So on my end, I try to get the closest address, since we're for the most part using Waze and GPS to get there. Now what happened today was there was almost no address that we were plugging in that was getting us close enough. So we kind of had to use an address. You hear the ducks? We kind of had to use an address that was a little bit further and then kind of get there. So tip number 2 you have to consider, especially when you're online looking at prices, you see really great prices. It could be a great price because 1, like I said, it could be landlocked, and 2, there may not have been a successful percolation test. So either it's never had a percolation test, or it had a percolation test and at some point it failed. So a percolation test is required. If you're not going to be hooked up to a public water and sewer, you definitely have to get a percolation test, or at least know that if you're going to buy land, just raw land without knowing anything, because it's a good price, you definitely have to know that you will need to get a percolation test if you plan to build. Now if you're buying land just to hold or to do something else, if you want to do some farming, or some people use it for storage, for extra land, and don't really plan on building on it. But if you plan on building on it, even if you're doing a mobile home, you're going to need to get a septic in there. Now the season for us here in Maryland is pretty much around January to April, which is right now for most people. Those are my quick tips about purchasing land. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Like I said in the beginning, if you can only do one, just do one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.